Don't miss a great day of basketball and building bridges to the community. Join the Brevard Prevention Coalition and Hey Blue for the Sixth Man Tournament. Watch local youth and officers from these agencies hit the court to play for prizes and to build lasting bonds. Bring your family and friends. Admission is free. The Sixth Man Tournament, Saturday, October 12th at Cocoa High School. Tip-off is at 10 a.m. Scan the QR code to find out more or visit brevardprevention.org and click on events.
Well, good evening, everybody. Alan Slaughterzinski for the Brevard Sports Network. Welcome here. And tonight we're going to talk about an event taking place on October the 12th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Cocoa High School. It's an all-day basketball affair, if you will, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And you're going to see all of these games here on BSN. I mean, where else would you see them, right? But here to talk about this spectacular event and what it means and what it's for is we have John VERDI, who is the founder and CEO of Hey Blue. And we also have Mr. Stanley BRIZZ, who is the executive director of Brevard Prevention Coalition. And John, I want to start with you. Why don't you just tell us what we got going on at Cocoa High School on October the 12th?
Absolutely, Alan. Thank you so much for having us. So October 12th, man, it's going down. We have the Sixth Man Tournament where police officers and community members are coming together to play on the same team. And as they go against the different areas of Brevard County. So we have West Melbourne, we have Cocoa, we have Satellite Beach, we have Palm Bay, and we have Titusville. And actually, Titusville has agreed to put in 2 teams of officers and community members to come together and play against each other. And what it's about showing that police officers and community members can come together for a common goal. This way through that, yeah.
No, I was just going to say that's incredible. And John, I think it transitions into what Hey Blue is all about and what you do there. Now, before you tell us about Hey Blue, tell everybody just a little bit about your background.
Oh, thank you, man. So, yes, I'm a retired police officer from New York City, 9/11 first responder, and I started Hey Blue. It's a not-for-profit organization that facilitates meaningful connections between police officers and the communities that they serve. Since 2016, we facilitated thousands of positive interactions between police officers and the community members here in Brevard County and raised thousands of dollars for organizations like Big Brothers Big Sisters and also Endeavor Elementary in Cocoa, but also to local families in need so that we can show that police officers and community members can come together for a common goal, and that is to help build a greater community together.
Well, I tell you, Stanley BRIZZ, the Brevard Prevention Coalition, I absolutely love. I love what it stands for. But as the executive director, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Brevard Prevention Coalition? Because I think the work is so important.
Thanks so much. So yeah, our goal, and hopefully I'm able to be heard.
Yeah.
Our goal here is to make sure that we increase protective factors for kids in the community and families and reduce their risk factors when it comes to substance misuse. Right now, addiction is killing our communities. It's killing generations, as well as right now the fentanyl crisis we're having with that ending up in everything. So what we're doing is doing the best we can to incorporate things along the lines of what John and Hey Blue, what they do. We try to facilitate positive connections between families and youths that build those protective factors, positive connections between those families and the communities, because we found out the more that they do, whether it's getting involved in sports or arts, music, positive connections with police officers, people that they interact with in some situations that could be intense. Having those positive connections and relationships really do protect them from making bad decisions when it comes to using drugs or alcohol to cope with the stress that life brings on, that they inevitably will face as they get older.
Now, what is the connection with Brevard Prevention Coalition to the event on October the 12th?
So as I mentioned, one of the good things is that positive connections with police officers. We notice that a lot of the youths that we work with have had either negative things told to them about police officers, or they've had negative experiences or experiences that were just intense. The officers may be responding to a call at their homes. They may see something happening in their community, and they're unsure how they feel about that, or because of the environment that they came up in, maybe those interactions have caused negative feelings. But we also want them to know that they have the ability to connect with those officers in a different way. So an event like this gets them to see them. It also, in turn, gets officers to see their community in a different way as well. We're all humans, so officers may also have preconceived notions about some of the youths playing from some of these communities. And when you get those things going, when you get those protective factors built from those positive connections in the community and other supports for the kids, as well as positive views from the police officers about those communities, that builds a stronger relationship, and it helps our youths have yet another resource they can rely on when they're faced with choices that could lead to substance misuse or underage drinking. All of it tied together.
You know, I think that an event like this is perfect because, let's face it, gentlemen, this issue, addiction, drug abuse, the attitude towards law enforcement, it's cultivated at a young age, unfortunately. And we often hear so many stories of young kids who have grown up and gone on to do some spectacular things that will say, when they're being interviewed after they've done something great in life and gone on to be successful, you know, I was at this event when I was a teenager or a kid, and I remember a police officer, or I remember a conversation I had. You know, events like this are what I think, A, we need to have more often, and B, I don't think people truly realize how impactful they are. And John, this is one of these type of events.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, from starting from as early as we can get, when the kids are kind of realizing, yet impressionable, you know, the ages 13 to 17, right, where they're starting to form their own opinions. We want to make sure that the officers are connecting with them in a positive way, and so that those positive connections carry on for years to come. And you know what? It's all about me, not only, like, the officers not only get to know those individuals that are playing with them, but their families, their friends, so that they are known as a safekeeper in their community, as somebody that can be trusted for people to go to help them in the worst times, you know, that they encounter.
We see so many viral videos on these social media platforms these days of a police officer pulling over in a neighborhood, getting out and shooting baskets, or getting out at a picnic and doing some dancing with the family that's, you know, that's having a cookout or something. And you know what? There's not one negative comment I've ever seen on any of those social media posts. People absolutely love this. And Stanley, I guess my question is, and I'm curious about this because, you know, a lot of people think that Brevard County is a phenomenal county to live in, but we very much have the same issues that all of the big cities have. Talk a little bit about, you know, what Brevard Prevention Coalition does for individuals and families.
Absolutely. Thank you for that opportunity. So right now we are establishing programs at all the community centers that we possibly can in the county, so that we can be sure that after school, where kids may not have anywhere else to go, they can go to those community centers, which they can already, but we'll have some sort of programming there that helps them know how to respond when they're approached with a situation where they could use drugs. We're also working in with the school district, so that kids that get caught at school with, you know, drugs or alcohol also have a programmatic approach to that as well, where the school district can send them to our program. Specifically right now, it's for kids that are caught vaping, and we can have time with them after school to help work through the issues that are leading to those behaviors. A lot of the kids that we see have other issues and stressors and trauma that they're experiencing that is not being, those things are not being addressed. They're leading to that substance use. So an event like this really helps us in one way build up some more of those positive experiences by also giving them another resource in law enforcement they can go to. And let's be honest, I mean, there are things that happen that are negative in the community, and there's things
Sure.
that happen that are negative from law enforcement. So we're trying to have everybody meet in the middle and humanize each other, and just have a really good time, and leave there saying, "Hey, now I have this other resource, or I have this other perspective," and that's not always visible. That's not always an obvious thing when it comes to substance misuse. People don't realize that it's those foundational principles that really work with prevention in substance misuse.
You know, it's a dark road that you begin to travel that way. And unfortunately, I'm sure all of us know someone or have someone that we love or close to that we have witnessed this. And whether it's a friend or a family member, this road in 2024 is dark, it's deep, and it's long. And John, my question to you on this is, from a law enforcement standpoint, a former police officer, I'm sure you've seen it all. And to know the relationship with the law enforcement community, with any community now, it seems to, with so many civil police officers out there. I mean, you see these videos online where everybody knows their rights. Everybody knows, everything there is about law enforcement. But let's be honest, law enforcement has become extremely difficult. But I think programs like this really help people understand what it is law enforcement community does, why they have to do it, how they have to do it. And events like this, man, I mean, is a perfect opportunity to talk about that and show that.
Absolutely. And also, it's all about, like Stanley said, they're out there, they're wearing a badge, they have a gun, all that kind of stuff. They're here to serve the community, protect the community. But underneath that layer of that uniform, they are a person, they are human.
Yeah.
And you know what? We can find the commonalities to connect. Right here, it's basketball, right? Everybody has someone that they know that balls out, or has a favorite baller, or a favorite team. And there's a commonality there, even in negativity. Even like, hey man, I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, as you can tell by my accent.
Yeah.
I'm not really high on the Orlando Magic, but I could turn around and say, yo, I have respect for this player, or I love it when this person does this, or that was a great game the other night. It's a commonality that we can find together. And if we can find one commonality, just one, well, that's a great starting point for us to be able to build a greater connection so that we can all work together to keep each other safe.
And I think you said a big key word right there in that commonality, and that is respect. In 2024, the word respect means so much more, because I find, I deal with student athletes every day, and 99.9% of them are so respectful in everything that they do. But I got to tell you, there are a few that, I've taken aside and talked to, and so everybody has something to learn. And, Hey Blue and the Brevard Prevention Coalition are two outstanding outlets for our community. And I thank you, gentlemen. Stanley, if I said to you to sum up really in one sentence what you want everybody to know about the BPC, what would that one thing be?
Good question. That we're here to help support you in any way possible to help you avoid that path that leads to substance misuse and a bad future. Positive choices, positive life.
Positive choices, positive life. And John, that same question to you about Hey Blue, because looking at the webpage here, and you've seen the information on the screen for both Hey Blue and the Brevard Prevention Coalition throughout this interview. I guarantee you there are several people watching this that could use the help of both organizations. John, the same question to you. One thing you would want everybody to know about Hey Blue.
Through community and connection, we can bring change. And I think that's really important. When we start realizing that we have more things in common than that separate us, we can work through those things and find a way that we can be policed, that we can all work together to keep each other safe.
I've covered in my Brevard County sports media career the Brevard County Enforcers before, and I know how much they talk a lot of smack and want to get out there and do well. I know how competitive police officers are, John. Who's going to win this thing? Who do we need to look out for in this thing?
I have to say right now, West Melbourne is going hard. They were the first ones to sign up when they heard about it. They were like, we want in, and we want to go hard on it. So I would look out for the West Melbourne team. They look pretty dope. So.
All right, well, we're going to have to find out. Stanley, John, this has been phenomenal. Is there anything that we haven't discussed or that I've left out that we must know about for this event?
If I can, yeah.
Sure.
So in order for the event to happen, what we're doing is we're going into the communities where the police officers, the police departments have signed up to have open run tryouts so that the kids can come down, they can get some ball time in, and then we'll talk to the kids, and we're going to grab 2 or 3 kids from each area to play with the cops on the teams, right? So
wow.
We have open runs set up coming up on the 8th of September in Titusville at the Titusville YMCA, and that's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Then the next one is going to be on the 13th, September 13th. That is in Palm Bay at the Ted Whitlock Community Center.
Okay.
And that's 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then right now, on the 15th, we have in Cocoa, the Joe Lee Smith Center, and that's going to be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then on the same day, we're going to be at the Satellite Beach Rec Center from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And then the West Melbourne location is still being formed right now. That's going to be the last location. But those 4 locations, come on down. It's an open run court. Ball out. Show us what you got. Kids ages 13 to 17 from those areas. And then we're going to talk to you and be like, hey, do you want to be part of, do you want to be on one of the teams? And if they do, that's how we're going. We wanted it to be granular. We wanted to get into the communities, talk to the kids, and see how they ball out. Because, all is right.
Can I add something to that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, side note, I was born in Brooklyn, too. I have dual citizenship in Florida and New York. So John and I can connect on that. I always say that.
So,
like 2 different countries.
So you're both Nets fans?
I didn't say that. I love Brooklyn, but I didn't say I was a Nets fan. But what I will say, too, is we need sponsors as well. So if there's any businesses out there or that want to support the city that they're in, even if they want to, come hard, so to speak, and show, their city spirit, please reach out to us for that. And if we could just reiterate, too, the event time and date, October 12th, starting at 10 a.m. at Cocoa High School. Tickets are free, but we still want you to register for the tickets online to attend. So you can come to BrevardPrevention.org. And then, John, do you have it on your site, per se? I don't know if you do or not. But BrevardPrevention.org, you can get it under events, or the sixman.eventbrite.com.
It's also, the link is also in the post for this interview. And, of course, Brevard Sports Network will be putting up, for all of these tryouts, you will see posts for these tryouts to make sure you student athletes get in those gyms and get on one of these teams, because I think this is an amazing concept. I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to broadcast this. This is going to be a lot of fun. Everybody always asks me, what is my favorite sport or my best sport that I broadcast? The answer is basketball, because there's so many different ways you can say a shot or a block or a rebound, a step back 3 or a twizzle turn down the lane. Oh. So there's so many different ways that and I love broadcasting basketball.
Hey, you know what? Let's do this. Come up with some kind of keyword, right? When people are watching, and if they come up to me during the event, and the first person that says the keyword, we'll give them a hat.
There you go. All right, I'll come up with a keyword, and we'll make sure that'll happen. Right now, I tell you what, I always say, what's the phrase I always say from the movie Christmas Vacation? That's a beaut, Clark. There you go. I'm going to give you a phrase. That's a beaut, Clark. When somebody hits a three, I always go to that. That's a beaut, Clark. So we'll use that one. But, gentlemen.
Whoever comes up to me and says that at the event, you get a Hey Blue hat. We'll take a picture with you and the hat. And, you know, listen, it's about having fun. It's about connecting. And look, you're going to see when you're at the event, this is going to be an event like you've never seen before.
Yeah.
So it's about community coming together. It's about impact, and it's about connection. So we're going to have a great time.
I can't wait, and it's going to be so much fun. And gentlemen, thank you for having Brevard Sports Network a part of this. And once again, I want to thank John VERDI, founder and CEO of Hey Blue, and Stanley BRIZZ, the executive director for Brevard Prevention Coalition. So for our producer, Caleb Brown, I'm Alan Slaughter-Zinski. We'll see you on October the 12th at Cocoa High School from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for what is going to be a magnificent day of community basketball. Have a great night, everybody.
Don't miss a great day of basketball and building bridges to the community. Join the Brevard Prevention Coalition and Hey Blue for the 6th Man Tournament. Watch local youth and officers from these agencies hit the court to play for prizes and to build lasting bonds. Bring your family and friends. Admission is free. The 6th Man Tournament, Saturday, October 12th at Cocoa High School. Tip-off is at 10 a.m. Scan the QR code to find out more or visit brevardprevention.org and click on events.
This is not typical police work. This will not lead to an arrest or even a promotion. But it will lead to something else.
What's the whole point of it?
The whole point is to build connection.
Some police officers ride horses. Awesome.
Connection between police and their community at a time when that bond is in serious need of repair.
We have to be able to teach not only the police officers, but the community, how do we start engaging positively and connect positively on a daily basis?
It's all part of a program called Hey Blue, founded by former NYPD officer John VERDI, now living in Florida.
I will be.
Before COVID, officers would read to classrooms in person. Now it's virtual story times.
It's time to dance around, my friends!
And online dance parties. Mainly targeting VERDI's current hometown of Melbourne, Florida, but viewed across the country.
I love what it does for the kids, what it does for the officers.
Jeremy Bohannon is an officer on the Austin, Texas police force.
Community policing, relational policing, empathetic policing is probably one of the most important things that we possibly could be doing right now.
Officer Bohannon joins in on almost every story time.
There's a lot of distrust, right, in certain communities.
There's a lot of distrust, and especially with the Black and brown community.
Natasha Walker and her daughter Irie felt that distrust.
Growing up, my views of police and police officers was mainly authoritative and very intimidating.
But despite their reservations, they started participating in story times and saw a different side of police.
I know now that I have a link, that I have an open door to that communication.
It was that connection that originally inspired John VERDI to create Hey Blue. It was after 9/11 when VERDI was in New York, spending days digging through rubble, when a third grader he never met gave him a card.
And that card used words like heroes and support and love. We believe in you. I'm sorry. From that day on, I had always started to find the connection between myself and kids in the community.
A goal he's still working to fulfill 20 years later.